AEW has its Full Gear pay-per-view live next Saturday from the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. Let's run through this card real quick. As it stands, this is what the card looks like. We have Pac taking on Hangman Adam Page. This match was originally scheduled to take place at Double or Nothing in Vegas in May. Got pulled for whatever the reason was. That whole situation is still confounding to me. These two wrestled on the debut episode of Dynamite last month. Pac won that match. Page needs this. I think he needs this. He did get a win over Sammy Guevara last week on TV, but I think he needs this win a lot more, so I think he gets the W here. We have the Young Bucks taking on Santana and Ortiz of the Inner Circle. This will be their first confrontation in AEW. I expect Santana and Ortiz to pick up the win for the Inner Circle. I do think it's important for the Inner Circle as a group to pick up some strong wins. For example, I don't think Jericho's going to lose the title. I'll talk about that in a second. But I think Santana and Ortiz, in what really is going to be here their first big match in AEW, they had a squash on TV a week or two ago, but that was hardly a big match. I think they need this win. So I think Santana and Ortiz go over. And we've got Cody challenging Chris Jericho for the AEW Championship, and to avoid the possibility of a draw, should the match go the full 60 minutes, which it won't, they will have a panel of 3 judges at ringside to vote on a winner. We don't yet know who those judges are going to be. It's an interesting spin off of an old concept. We've seen this many, many years ago in the past. And I don't have a problem with it if they want to have 3 legends out there to get acknowledged and wave. Maybe it adds some drama the longer the match goes on for. I just cannot see this match going 60 minutes. And nor do I think there's a reason for it to. So I don't expect that. I do expect Chris Jericho to retain. I think it would be far too soon to A, take the championship off of Jericho, because I think he's doing a great job so far in that role. But also would be way too early to put the belt on Cody without getting a lot of the I think backlash that you would get from some people saying, oh, well, look at this, it's like the second coming of Triple H. He's giving himself the championship. There will be a time and a place for Cody to win that title because Cody's over. Cody is a superstar to these people. And he will be the champion at some point. I just don't see the need for it to be now. I think it's too soon. I think Jericho keeps it. I think you can build to Jericho and Omega, coming back to that at some point next year. And then having maybe Kenny be the one to take that title away from Jericho. I also would watch for MJF. I said this many, many weeks ago. I still feel the same way. I think MJF might do the turn here. And I say might do the turn. If you really think about it, he's a heel. It's almost like there is no turn to do. I mean, he would be turning on his friend. I guess that would be the turn. But he's already a heel. The guy's already a dick. This would just be him showing his true colors, and we come to find out that he's, jealous of something that Cody did or said or whatever. He doesn't appreciate me as a friend. Whatever the story is they want to go with, I would keep my eye on him, especially if he's out there for the match. At the New Japan Power Struggle show, Jericho showed up in a video and by the way, Hiromu Takahashi, very happy to hear that he is resurfaced and he will be wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom. He's been gone for a very long time. I think he's been gone for almost a year and a half with that broken neck. And there was some debate about whether or not he would ever be able to make a comeback. And so he has returned to New Japan, which is awesome. But Chris Jericho showed up in a video to challenge Hiroshi Tanahashi to a match on the second night of Wrestle Kingdom at the Tokyo Dome on January 5th. Tanahashi accepted the challenge, so that match is now official. It's in Jericho's contract that he can work with New Japan. That does not mean that AEW is working with New Japan or this opens the door to discussions between the two sides. I maintain that it is foolish for them to be at war with each other or to ignore each other and to not do business with each other. I think it's inevitable that at some point they will, but I will admit these issues seemingly go far deeper than even I thought. Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks was asked about this on Twitter, and he gave a pretty definitive answer as to whether or not AEW and New Japan are going to be working together. He said, it's really not happening. Been asked this thousands of times, And telling the truth is always best. I don't want fans holding on to something that has zero chance of happening. Man, the bad blood there must be real bad for him to give an answer like that. And I don't think he's working people or anything like that. I think it's, as things stand, I think that's how negative things are between the two sides. And I would love to know exactly what led to this. Was it the way that Omega left New Japan? Were there issues already bubbling up before he left? Is that why he left? I would love to know and pinpoint the moment or the event or the comment or the interview, whatever it was, that led to this kind of acrimony between the two sides. Because I just think it's foolish for them not to work with each other at some point. It would be a mutually beneficial relationship. It would be great for the fans. Great exposure, obviously, for New Japan on a network like TNT. I just don't understand where this is all coming from. And speaking of Omega, we have Kenny Omega taking on Jon Moxley in an unsanctioned lights-out match where anything goes, per the Observer. Because it is a lights-out match, the plan is for this to go on last and for this to end the show because it's technically unsanctioned. And it's not part of the actual show. So the idea is the championship match comes and goes. And I guess Justin Roberts gets on the mic and says, what you're about to see is not sanctioned by AEW. That portion of the show is now over. I mean, nobody's going to get up and leave, obviously. And then you would put this match on and there would be no rules. Unsanctioned. Be kind of foolish if, there's a referee there, because if it's not technically a match, why would there be a referee there? I don't know how they're going to work that. But apparently this is going to go on last. I'm going with Jon Moxley. I was kind of wavering on this, especially because I think Omega is the one who eventually is going to take that title from Jericho, I feel. But there's time yet for that to happen. He doesn't have to win here. Moxley, this is the biggest match of his short tenure so far in AEW. He's had a match on TV with, Pac. He had another match with, I believe it was Shawn Spears. And he had that match many months ago with Joey Janela. But this is by far the biggest match yet of his AEW run. I think you give Moxley the win. This is his kind of match. This is his environment. No rules, hardcore, anything goes, weapons, plunder. We're going to see all of it. Tax, probably, all this crazy shit. And I think that he goes over here. Now, this is a match also very long time in the making. This was going to take place at All Out in August. Moxley came down with that MRSA infection. And so it was kind of a blessing in a way because it gave them extra time to really build this match up. And they did that angle on TV a few weeks ago where Moxley DDT'd Omega through this glass coffee table. And they've been going back and forth on TV. So they had extra time to build to this. So, hey, sometimes things work out. And it worked out to their favor because now they get to headline this pay-per-view with this match. Now, there's 3, as I see it, potential matches that have not yet been confirmed, but I think could be very likely to happen on this show. SCU defending the tag team titles against the Lucha Bros in a rematch. I would think there's a pretty good chance that we see that. That would be a rematch from the finals of the tournament. If they do it, I think SCU retains just because they just won them. I don't see them taking them off them so soon. Jake Hager. Jake Hager might have a match on this pay-per-view. If so, Dustin Rhodes would be a logical opponent. But he's claiming in this storyline that what happened after the events of Dynamite, he's got a radial fracture in his arm. He's got a broken arm after the attack by Jake Hager. Now, he could work the match in a cast, but they're more likely to hold off on it now. And so the other name that comes to mind is a potential opponent for Hager, and probably an easy win for him. Well, maybe not easy, but a win for him would be Darby Allin. Darby Allin is the one who got screwed over by Hager. He cost Darby Allin possibly the championship in the match with Jericho a few weeks ago. It was his interference. So if they do Hager and Darby Allin, or even Hager and Dustin Rhodes, I think Hager goes over. And then Riho. I would have to think they want Riho to defend her AEW Women's Championship. I just don't know who it would be against. So I really can't. I mean, I could spit names out, but it's not going to be Britt Baker. We already saw that match. So I don't know who it would be, but I would expect there to be a women's title match on the show. And don't forget Wardlow. Don't forget our good friend Wardlow, who has yet to make his debut, but we've seen the videos for him. We know he's coming. Would kind of make sense if he came on the pay-per-view. We'll see. We'll see if he shows up on the show, and if so, what role they put him in.